Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvisha vahaihi. Om Shanti Shanti Shantihi. Brahmanandam Paramasukadam Kevalam Jnanamurtim Dundvathidam Gaganasadrisham Tattvamasyadilaksham Egam Nityam Vimalamajalam Sarvati Sakshibhudam Bhavathidam Trigunarahidam Sadgurum Tam Namami Sadgurum Tam Namami. So we go to the last verse in the fourth prakarana. Durdarshamadigambiram Ajam Samyam Visharadam Buddhva Padamananatvam Namaskurmo Yadhabelam. So he says, having thus realized that reality, the state of that supreme reality, the Brahman, which is very durdarsham. It's not easy for ordinary people to have that vision. Durdarsham means which cannot be seen. It's very difficult to see the point. That is true. All the arguments still did not convince us that there is something. No, we are convinced there is Brahman. But how to reach it? So one of the students is asking me, how did Buddha reach without knowing all this? Now, we have to say all the mystics, how they reached there. There are very few mystics who told us how they reached there. Only the Upanishad rishis have taken the trouble to tell us what all they did to reach there. Even then, that is not fully understood by us. So that is the difficulty in this. There are great saints and sages who, by merely purifying the mind and living a life of perfection all their lives, they awaken to it without any other knowledge, without any other help. Just Bhagwan himself or that higher had shown itself to them. You understand? It happened like that. Not that we can say, by what else did they do to reach there? That question is unanswerable, because from mystic to mystic it changed. It is not the same. No, I remember Gurudev telling, even Prophet Muhammad, he used to go to that mountain and sit there and meditate. And in one of those meditations, he did not study any of these things. In one of those meditations, it was given to him. It's all revealed knowledge. Quran, Bible, the Vedas, everything is revealed knowledge. Why it revealed to them? Only he knows, we don't know. You understand? So, that's why I keep on telling you, it is not fully the result of your effort. They don't even believe in previous lives and etc. We don't know what is the... Only thing I can tell at the most is that they were fit for that realization and they were given. That is all we can say. Everybody can't communicate their experience also. There are many in the Himalayas who cannot communicate anything. That is why we say a teacher has to be both Shrotriya and Brahmanishta. So, that is all we can understand. After coming to the door of truth, we don't know what happens. It may take it in its head to show to the most unlikely person. We may think how that Pakanar had... Pakanar is, is a mere in the lowest caste in Tamil Nadu, and he realized Shiva Tattvam. How? We don't know. He had only lot of bhakti. Oh my Lord, when will I see you? When will I see you? When will I see you? And he was a bonded slave, from the low farmer's family. And he went on asking his master, please let me go to Chidambaram, please let me go to Nandanar. Okay. Kakanar also something like that only. And he was not allowed. So finally he allowed him to go, and when he went there, the pujaris made a big rakasa. This scheduled caste fellow, and we won't allow him to enter the temple, etc., etc. Those days, caste-ridden times. And then he had Bhagwan himself came in the dream of those pujaris and told them, that is my bhakta, you bring him in a palanquin inside the temple. So what a sight it must have been. The pujaris carrying this man into the temple. And he went prostrated to the Lord, and he had disappeared. That is the story. He had disappeared means he had, he had left his body and became one with the Lord. How it happened, if you ask me, I don't know how it happened. It happened. That's all we know. So many such stories are there in our literature, and so many real ones. Now, how did Buddha only, if you say, what her question was, if you say the mind, merely mind purification is not enough to reach there. Okay, a purified mind is required. But along with it, so many other sadhana chadushtaya sampannadhikari. If that is there only, it happens. And it happens not at you, when you want or when you decide. It is decided by that alone. This much if you understand, you make yourself available to the Lord, and the Lord owns you sometime or other, whoever it is. That is how mystics are born in this world. Okay. So, Durdarsham, otherwise common man cannot even think about it. Durdarsham, he cannot, having realized that state of supreme reality, which is extremely difficult to be grasped. Darsham means not to see with the eyes, but to understand it. It's very, very difficult that we understand that is true. Adi Gambhiram. And it is so profound in nature. Gambhiram. Word in Sanskrit means very majestic is that truth. Not a half truth or quarter truth. It is very, very profound. Adi Gambhiram, Ajam Samyam Visharadam. All of which you know. Ajam, unborn Visharadam. Samyam, Samata is there, ever the same, all knowledge. Visharadam means where there is no ignorance at all, clarity is there. Visharadam. Before also it came, is it not? And what is the meaning I give? Vishuddha, pure. Okay, Visharadam. And Buddhva, having understood that, Padam Ananatvam, that Padam, that state where there is no Nanatvam, there is only Egatvam. That which is depicting Egatvam, not Nanatvam. There is no Nanatvam in it. Namaskurmo yathabalam. And here is ending this treatise saying, let me prostrate to that highest truth, reverence to that knowledge. So whenever, if we give our respect to the teacher also, not to the teacher, as a person. As a person, many wrong things will be. Even Lord Krishna tells the gopis, you do what I say, you don't do what I do. What he says is so amazing. He says, don't do what I do, but do what I say. Why is he saying like that? In the Narayanam also it is there, Bhagavatam, everywhere. It is to say that I am doing actions from different levels. You cannot do like that. So don't do all that I do is not possible for you, first of all. Like some people say, why don't we marry at least 2 wives? Krishna had so many wives. So many. Then we say, Krishna had done so many things, like holding the Govardhana. Can you do that? No. Then how can you do only for this you are Krishna, is it? Is it not stupid? You understand? So, can he marry 16,000 wives and be in every house at the same time? Who can do that? Is there a man in this world who can do that? That's why even the Muslims who are allowed 4 wives, because there were shortage of men after a war, a civil war and all that. There were no people in Arabia. Only women were more. After a war, all men will die, because... So, it is said that Prophet allowed 4 wives so that they will be protected, they will be looked after, they won't be on the roads. That was the idea. But he has made a condition that all the 4 should be equally treated. If you are making a house for one, you have to make 4 houses for all the 4. If you are buying a car, you have to buy car for her. So who will marry one wife only is difficult to maintain. That is the condition. If you are a true Muslim, you won't marry 4 times, because it is difficult to have this condition fulfilled. But if you are a Indriya Rama, you will and get suffer. You understand? So many things, the great spiritual leaders, they have their own reasons for giving instructions according to the time, according to the necessity of the people of those days. That does not mean it applies now. It doesn't apply. Okay, so Durdarsham Adhigambhiram Buddhva, having understood Padam, that Nanatvam, where there is Ananatvam, meaning there is no Nanatvam. Namaskurmo yadha belam. How, as much as I can, we salute it. As best as we can, we salute that truth, which is now, here he says, Namaskaram is possible only in a situation of Dvaidavastha. So that is why Ramana Maharshi says, Tasya Smriti, even to remember the Lord, is very difficult when you are in the Advaita state. So what you have to do? Tasya Smriti Tatra Dridaiva Nishtha. You come to that Atmanishta, and that is the only way of showing your reverence for that higher state, showing reverence to Jnanam. So Namaskurma, when says, don't say, that Gaudapada fell down Sashtangam and did Namaskar to, not like that. It is only a mental prostration to that highest knowledge which he had achieved at the end of this journey. And he says, the greatest adoration we can give to the Supreme is to be it. This you must write in your book. What is the greatest adoration a Vedantin can do to the higher truth is to be that. I am that. Now, that is called Nishtha. That is called Tatra Dridaiva Nishtha. When you say, I realize I am not different, I am not abhedam from that truth. That understanding is the greatest namaskar you can give. So no use of 100 namaskarams also when you have not understood the truth, when you have realized the truth of the oneness of the Jiva Brahma Aikyam. Jiva also is liquidated almost in our book. Jiva is liquidated and it has become, because it is not other than Brahman. So we say the treatise is now complete. All knowledge and free from plurality. The attributes here mentioned of the Supreme Self have all been discussed earlier. To realize the Self is itself the greatest worship that one can offer to the Self. So, how do you worship such a thing? How can I worship that Nirguna, Niradishya, Nirvishesha Brahman? It's not possible. I myself can become that. My littleness I dissolve in that infinitude. That is called your way of say thanks to the higher. How will I say thanks? It doesn't have any avayavam. It doesn't speak to anybody. How can I say thanks? You can't. So, you be that. Be. That's the only way to say thanks to the higher. That we can give or to a guru is to become it. Become and all are wrong words. There no word is applicable. So then what? Be that. Prayer itself is an attempt to attune ourselves to the ideal of our prayer, and without this mental and intellectual adjustment, mere verbal prayers are at best a nuisance to others. Don't try to pray loudly and think that God has no ears. Even if you pray in your own mind, He can hear, is it not? Because He is all-knowing. Sarvajnaha. Think in those terms. Without this mental and intellectual adjustment, mere verbal prayers are at best a nuisance unto ourselves and the neighbors. Thus, Sri Gaudapada in his concluding stanza is hammering the idea that the seeker's achievement of selfhood is in itself the greatest possible adoration of the Upanishadic seers. So, the greatest worship of the Lord is not any particular puja, any particular namaskaram, any particular anything. Then what it is? It is owning your oneness with the Upasyam, owning your oneness with the highest. That is the greatest. Having thus realized the supreme selfhood in the self, which is all-pervading, beyond all plurality, acts of adoration, love or devotion have no place. Nistuti, nirnamaskara. Nothing is there. That is why many great masters, they don't bother about any ritual. They don't do any ritual also. They cannot even, the sannyasi cannot even chant Gayatri. Nothing is there in the Gayatri. Gayatri is a beautiful mantra, but it is, the sannyasi is prevented from doing it. Why? Because you are asking for something, You who are fullness itself, what are you asking? And it says, Bhurbhuva Swaha Tat Savidur Varene Bhargo Devasya Dhime. Dhiyo Yona Prajodayat. That is the gift you are asking. So you are asking for something. Hence, that also is, the moment they become brahmachari, becomes a sannyasi, he cannot chant Gayatri after that. Okay? Nirnamaskaram, that is, having the supreme, which is one's own self, ritualistic method by which one can salute the supreme, which is one's own self, is by attempting ourselves as best as we can to get a complete detachment from our body, mind and intellect, and thereby rediscovering ourselves to be our eternal nature, nothing but the self, Sachidananda Swarupa Atma. Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham. And he ends it with that very beautiful verse, Asangoham punah punah Sachidananda Rupoham Ahamevaha Abheya. This is Asango. Why 3 times? From all. From the B, from the M, from the I am unattached. I am unattached to this, to this, to this. They are all only superimpositions of a mind in spandanam. You understand? It is all a thought. And that thought came from what? From ignorance. The spandanam is caused by avidya. So, thus, unattached I am I again and again, of nature absolute existence, knowledge, bliss. Am I Sachidananda Rupoham, Hamevaham Avyayam, and I am imperishable. Avyayam means there is no vayam in me. There is no becoming less. When you have money, you go on spending it, it will become less and less. How? So our elderly people will say, even if it is a mountain, if you go on taking the mud or whatever it is from it, it will become no mountain one day. That's what the whole people are doing now. Everything they destroy. From Rajasthan we get the marbles or whatever we are using in our... And soon there will be all the mountains of marble will disappear. Even Himalayas, I saw once when we were going, I saw they are saying here is going to come a resort. And resort means what? They will destroy that mountain piece by piece until whatever land they want. This is called environmental, friends of environment. They are only friends of money, I can tell you. Okay, so thus ends, and what to say? Nothing to say. By His grace, I was able to finish this, and you were such good, receptive students. I could give you my best, whatever I am capable of. Is it not? Only to a receptive student a teacher can talk, not to others. This knowledge is everybody's knowledge. I don't say some people might not have understood, but they also in due course of time, they will also come in the field. No student comes all equipped to any class. So one day they will also come, realize their, heritage, the traditional knowledge which has been ours and which will make a superman out of an ordinary man, an extraordinary person. And let it happen, I think. And I thoroughly enjoyed these sessions. Tedious they were for an old woman, but but in spite of it all, I enjoyed. Why I enjoyed? Because I like the subject myself. Secondly, I like to teach somebody who is ready to receive it. What is the point of teaching to those who are not interested in it? So that way I should really thank you for this wonderful time you have given me all these years. Now Shankaracharya in his Bhashya ends it with 3 Mangala Shlokas, which is with you, if you have it, or otherwise you copy it down. The first one, which is very rare, Shankaracharya had never written Mangala Shlokas either at the beginning or at the end in any Upanishadic Bhashya. But this is a special Upanishad as far as he is concerned. So did we also feel when we read it. It is not an ordinary Upanishad. So, all the 3 Mangala Shlokas. Second, Ajam Abhijani Yogam Prabhadaishwarya Yogat Agadi Chagadi Mattam Prabhadegam Hanegam Vividha Vishaya Dharma Grahi Mukdekshananam Pranadabhaya Vihandra Brahma Yatpanadosmi. So he says here, the meaning only I'll give you. If you want, you can write. I bowed down to that Brahman, though birthless, appears to be born. It's only an appearance that it is born, that Brahman, through its inscrutable power of Maya. Through its inscrutable, this is from Bhashya I have taken, inscrutable power of Maya. Semicolon, though ever motionless, appears to be moving, comma, though one appears to be many. That is the first verse. This Brahman, in other words, though one appears as many, appears to be many. So that after the first level, everything is description of Brahman. That Brahman, though birthless, appears to be born, that through its inscrutable power, though ever motionless, appears to be moving, and though one appears to be many. That is the first verse. And the second verse says, Prajna Vaishaga Veda Kshubida Jalanidher Veda Namnondarastam Buddhanalokya Magnanya Vidada Jananagraha Gore Samudre Karunyadudadhara Mృdamidam Amarair Durlabham Budahedor Yasam Pujyadi Pujyam Paramagurumamum Padapadirnatosmi. See the great love and adoration that is there in the voice of Shankara here. He says to that Pujya, not even Pujya, that Pujya Paramaguru of mine, I prostrate. He is offering prostrations to Gaudapadas Swami in this verse. In the first verse, he prostrated to Brahman. Though that prostration is not a physical prostration, that is a mental attunement. It is not a physical prostration. So in the second one he says, I salute the teacher of my teacher by prostrating at his feet, the most adorable, Pujya, most adorable, who out of compassion to the sufferings of this transmigratory life gave this nectar. The text is the nectar, which lies in the depth of the ocean. Shankara is a poet. You can't help it. He will write like this only. In the depth of the ocean called Vedas. It is he has picked it up from the ocean of the Vedas and had given us the nectar. Who? Gaudapadas. Of the ocean called Vedas, which by stirred means churned, like, when you are taking butter, you put one katakol, like that, churning, which is stirred by inserting the churning rod of his illumined intellect. What a way to, in what beautiful way. He had stirred the whole Vedas and took out the wisdom from it by the churning rod of his, not ordinary intellect, illumined intellect. He is a illumined human being, enlightened being. Have you understood this? And the third verse says, I offer my obeisance with my whole being to those sanctifying feet of my own teacher, through the light of whose illumined intellect my delusion was dispelled, at whose feet I took shelter. The others also get unfailingly the knowledge of the Upanishads, self-control and humility. This is what Shankara had written after. You do not know how to express gratitude to the whole Guru Shishya Parampara and also to that Brahman which had been kind enough to reveal itself to me. Very beautiful verses, that's why so here we stop, isn't it? And I also like to thank those great masters who gave me the humble though I am, to give me this opportunity of going through it and analyzing it and discussing it and enjoying it with you all. So everything went off very well. you start anything good, it has to go on. Intentions were there. Hence, the Lord Himself takes it upon Himself to see to its final success. So everything went off well, and thank you very much. It was one of the best camps I had taken. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti.